This presentation will introduce you to some useful transitional expressions and help you employ them effectively. Because transitions glue our ideas and our essays together. In both academic writing and professional writing, your goal is to convey information clearly and concisely, if not to convert the reader to your way of thinking. Transitions help you to achieve these goals by establishing logical connections between sentences, paragraphs, and sections of your paper. In other words, transitions tell readers what to do with the information you present to them. Whether a single word, quick phrases, or full sentence, they function as signs that tell reader how to think about, organize, and react to old and new ideas as they read through what you have written. Transitions signal relationship between ideas, relationships such as another example coming up, stay alert, or here is an exception to my previous statement, or although this idea appears to be true, here is the real story. Basically, transitions provide the reader with directions for how to piece together your ideas into a logically coherent argument. Transitions are not just verbal decoration that embellish your paper by making it sound or read better. They are words with particular meaning that tell the reader to think and react in a particular way to your ideas. In providing the reader with these important clues, transition help readers understand the logic of how your ideas fit together. Signs that you might need to work on your transitions. How can you tell whether you need to work on your transitions? Here are some possible clues. Your instructor has written comments like choppy, jumpy, abrupt, flow, need, signposts, or how is this related on your paper. Your readers, instructors, friends, or classmates tell you that they had trouble following your organization or train of thoughts. You tend to write the way you think, and your brain often jumps from one idea to another pretty quickly. You wrote your paper in several discrete chunks and they passed them together. You're working on a group paper. The draft you're working on was created by pasting pieces of several people's writing together. Since the clarity and effectiveness of your transitions will depend greatly on how well you have organized your paper, you may want to evaluate your paper's organization before you work on transitions. In the margin of your draft, summarize in a word or short phrase what each paragraph is about and how it fits into your analysis as a whole. This exercise should help you to see the order of and connections between your ideas more clearly. If after doing this exercise you find that you still have difficulty linking your ideas together in a coherent fashion, your problem may not be with transitions but with organization. The organization of your written work includes two elements: the order in which you have chosen to present the different parts of your discussion or argument, and the relationship you construct between these parts. Transmissions cannot subtitle for good organization, but they can make your organization clearer and easier to follow. Take a look at the following example. El Paso, a Latin American country, has a new democratic government after having been in dictatorships for many years. Assume that you want to argue that El Paso is not as democratic as the conventional view would have us believe. One way to effectively organize your argument would be to present the conventional view and then to provide the reader with your critical response to this view. So, in paragraph A, you would enumerate all the reasons that someone might consider LP highly democratic, while in paragraph B, you would refute these points. The transmissions that would establish the logical connection between these two key elements of your argument will indicate to the reader that the information in paragraph B contradicts the information in paragraph A. As a result, you might organize your argument, including the transition that links paragraph A with paragraph B, in the following manner. Paragraph A points that support the view that LP's new government is very democratic. Transition. Despite the previous argument, there are many reasons to think that LP's new government is not as democratic as typically believed. Paragraph B points that contradicts the view that LP's new government is very democratic. In this case, the transition words, despite the previous argument, suggest that the reader should not believe paragraph A and instead should consider the writer's reason for viewing LP's democracy as suspect. As the example suggests, transition can help reinforce the underlying logic of your paper's organization by providing the reader with essential information regarding the relationship between your ideas. In this way, transitions act as the glue that bonds the components of your argument or discussion into a unified, coherent, and persuasive whole. Now that you have a general idea of how to do about developing effective transitions in your writing, let's briefly discuss the types of transitions your writing will use. The types of transitions available to you are as diverse as the circumstance in which you need to use them. A transition can be a single word, a phrase, a sentence, or an entire paragraph. In each case, it functions the same way. First, the transition either directly summarizes the content of a preceding sentence, paragraph, or section, or implies such a summary by reminding the reader of what has come before. Then it helps the reader anticipate or comprehend the new information that you wish to present. Transmissions between sections, particularly in longer works, it may be necessary to include transmissional paragraphs that summarize for the reader the information just covered and specify the relevance of this information to the discussion in the following section. Transitions between paragraphs. If you have done a good job of arranging paragraphs so that the content of them leads logically to the next, the transmissions will highlight a relationship that already exists by summarizing the previous paragraph and suggesting something of the content of the paragraph that follows. The transmissions between paragraphs can be a word or two, however, for example, similarly, a phrase or a sentence. Transmissions can be at the end of the first paragraph, at the beginning of the second paragraph, or in both places. Transmissions within paragraphs. As with transmissions between sections and paragraphs, transmissions within paragraphs act as clue by helping readers to anticipate that is coming before they read it. Within paragraphs, transmissions tend to be simple words or short phrases. Effectively constructing each transmission often depends upon your ability to identify words or phrases that will indicate for the reader the kind of logical relationship you want to convey. The table should make it easier for you to find these words or phrases. Whenever you have trouble finding a word, phrase, or sentence to serve as an effective transition, refer to the information in the table for assistance. Look in the left column of the table for the kind of logical relationship you are trying to express. Then look to the right column of the table for examples of words or phrases that express this logical relationship. Keep in mind that each of these words or phrases may have a slightly different meaning. Consult a dictionary or writer's handbook if you are unsure of the exact meaning of a word or phrase.